All right, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today with an incredible lecture, an incredible transmission. All right. An incredible transmission in terms of flow state shamanism, in terms of what we're truly learning about. Okay. What we're truly learning about, which is the topic of intuition. Okay. Are you intuitive? Do you have a connection to an intuitive mode of being, of living? Okay. I just spilled this chicory all over the floor. So I'm going to switch to kombucha. Okay. Let's get it. Upward spiral, gang. May we never be the same again. And we are back and we are live. Live and direct. I am, of course, in Kolkata, India currently. And, I was raised by the right brain in a sense. I was hyper creative, you know, using like duct tape, cardboard cutouts, you know, imagining different scenes with action figures, right? Comic books were like my gospel, and improv theater was like the first language that I learned, okay? So I didn't learn to think outside the box. I never knew there was a box. I never knew there was a limit to this thing. It's only adults that put into my brain at that young age that there was a limit to this thing. But creativity is limitless, it is infinite. It is exactly that. And once we learn how to reconnect with it, oh man, we become unstoppable. Not because we're chasing it, but because we're embracing it. Okay? And if you grew up in a kind of dreamy archetype, floating in thoughts and fantasies, hiding in your imagination, then you weren't disconnected, you were somewhere else. Hey there, my love. You survived by building a rich inner world. Okay? And that rich inner world was the bedrock of your skill set, your imagination. Okay? Because it does become a skill set over time. There is a natural leaning towards it, but I truly think that there is an enrichment over time. It's not about abandoning the dream, it's about bridging the dream into your body, right? So you don't need to fight your sensitivity, you just need to feel enough to listen to it. And by listening to it, you'll understand it's actually giving you more effortless pathways. So intuition is the bridge between imagination and embodiment. It's that inner compass that hums when your soul says yes. Okay. And I have the Reichian archetype of the schizoid, which taught me to dissociate. But now it's time, as I'm fully healed, going through the process of healing. And it's time to reassociate, not dissociate, right? It's time to root my visions into the earth and let my body speak the language of my spirit. So the more you get into your breath, into your body, you speak your visions out loud. That's when intuition turns from static into signal. So some of you may be asking, this is a very common question I get, what do I do now which can help me to reclaim my intuition? Because, and I think the simplest answer to this question would be to stop being a masochist. Don't confuse resistance with alignment. right? I thought if it hurts, it must be growth. But it's actually that it dulls your intuition, right? This masochism by normalizing stress as your compass. So then you start grounding yourself in pain, not in truth. You become an endurer. And the more you endure without setting solid boundaries with people, you will start to notice that you're also gaining weight, right? Maybe you're grounding yourself through food and so forth. So it's like you have to really understand, where is this really coming from, right? What is blocking my intuition? So intuition is not just a feeling. That's a myth. For years, we've been told that intuition is nothing more than a gut feeling, unreliable, unscientific, and best ignored in favor of cold, hard logic. But there's a lot of emerging research in neuroscience and psychology, okay, that's flipping this narrative on its head. Champak. Intuition is a cognitive powerhouse. It isn't mystical, it's a sophisticated mental process. And according to, I think, the Oxford English Dictionary says, intuition is the ability to understand or know something immediately without conscious reasoning, right? And neuroscientific studies suggest that our brains continuously recognize patterns in the stream of sensations without conscious attention. Okay, there's this neuroscientist, his name is Joel Pearson, Pearson, and he's at the University of New South Wales, and he defined intuition as the learned positive use of unconscious information for better decisions or actions, right? How's that for a definition for us peak performance shamans, right? He said intuition as the learned positive use of unconscious information for better decisions or actions. Actually, Jung pointed this out, right? Like, if you were to not live out the images in your unconscious and you repress them, they're going to show up in the external world somehow. Okay? So this is what you got to do. You got to be really careful, because it takes the elements of being very brave in this thing, but it also takes that deep level of care. Okay? And intuition operates through the brain's adaptive unconscious, right? It's a system that processes information super fast and efficiently without our conscious awareness. So this allows us to make really swift decisions by drawing on past experiences and learned patterns. Okay? Kombucha gang, ginger lemon. Okay? Recognizing patterns and also processing holistic information. Okay? So intuition isn't just for trivial choices. It's very pivotal in high decisions, high stakes decision making. So studies have shown that professionals rely on their intuitive judgments, which are informed by experience and their expertise levels. So intuition can be cultivated, like practices like mindfulness, reflective journaling. They can help us enhance our intuitive abilities, our intuitive faculties, to lead us into better decision making and problem solving. Right? So it's time to shed the outdated belief that intuition is inferior to logic, guys. Science confirms that intuition is a powerful, trainable cognitive function. By understanding and honing our intuitive abilities, we can take a more informed decision and tap into a greater well of creativity and insight. So your inner voice isn't lost, it's just pissed off. Is this making sense? Some of us can make lightning fast decisions because we never stopped listening to that whisper within us. But others, we were taught to doubt ourselves, right? And when you're taught to doubt yourself, you're taught that your truth was too much, or you're too weird, or you're too insensitive, or you're too inconvenient. So then it got buried. We became the quiet ones, the floaters, the dreamers. We lived in our heads because it was safer than the body, right? We abandoned our voice because no one mirrored it back to us. And the truth is, your inner voice didn't die. It just went underground. It became subtle, then symbolic, then silent, until even your body started screaming on its behalf through fatigue, headaches, depression, illness. But that whisper, that sensation, that flicker in your gut, right? The tension in the jaw, that craving to sing when you're alone, that's it. That's you. You don't need more affirmations. You need reconciliation with the part of you that stopped speaking because it felt ignored, invalidated, betrayed. But the process is simple. Withdraw from the noise, turn inwards, right? Your skin is the threshold. Feel without flinching. What's the color of that tightness in your chest? What's its shape? What's its mood? Give it an image, right? Ask it questions now. Why are you here? What are you trying to tell me? What truth am I too scared to admit right now? And listen to it. Listen to it because it does matter. It does matter. Let the conversation unfold. You're not making it up, you're making it real. So speak, express, dance, write, growl, cry. The opposite of suppression is expression. Okay? What did Bruce Lee say? To honestly express oneself. That was his quote, right? So don't try to sort the positive from the negative. That's spiritual censorship. Your critic is still you. It's the wounded child trying to keep you safe with judgment. So give even the bitter voice your full, raw attention. Because all your inner voice ever wanted was your undivided, unedited presence. And when it starts to trust you again, I'm telling you, your intuition is going to start whispering back. And then it turns from a whisper to a roar. Jumanji, Jumanji. They told you intuition was just a gut feeling, a whisper, a maybe, a little, it's just a little goosebumps flat on my skin, right? Before you ignore it and you do what's logical. Wrong. Intuition isn't soft, it's savage. It's your ancient alarm system fused with your future self compass. At least that's how I see it, right? It's the language of timelines, of soul navigation, of divine memory leaking into your now. But they lied. They taught you to doubt it, right? What was the whole point of Dune, that movie? Dune is fantastic, by the way. Go and check it out. Okay? I'm not talking about the acting, I'm talking about the thematic representations of what's going on in that movie. Right? Paul Atreides is taught not to trust his inner visions in this voice, right? Everybody's telling him, no, that's weird, don't do that. No, that's not right. There's no one there. Like, you're imagining things, you're making this stuff up. It's not gonna work, right? They all doubted him, but he just kept following the vision. Okay. So if you trusted it, if you actually trusted your intuition, you'd break free from the system. You'd quit the job you know is killing your light. You'd walk away from a relationship that you feel is draining your magic. You'd stop asking gurus and start actually consulting the God within. But they didn't want that. They want you tamed, right? They trained you to second guess yourself and call it humility. They sold you logic like it was a gospel, when reality, I mean, it's just fear in a necktie, right? They shamed your irrational decisions, never telling you intuition sees what the rational mind cannot. So this is quantum, non-linear, and when you trust it, you enter the zone, enter the flow. Every time you override your intuition, you fracture your soul a little bit. Every time you obey it, even if it makes zero fucking sense, you still reclaim your power. You see, intuition is not a backup plan. It is the plan. So stop treating it like this maybe thing and start treating it like a command center from your higher self, because intuition isn't emotional, it's ancestral. It's the dragon that's been whispering to your bloodline for centuries and it's done waiting, right? You hear it, you know it, now act like it. Okay? Just follow your joy. Okay, sure, follow your joy. But also, I'm talking about I can't prove it, I know level of gnosis, right? The whisper behind your neck when someone fake walks into the room. You start waking up and glowing up, you're going to start losing people like shadows in the sunrise. It's just vibration physics. It's nothing personal. Don't take it personal. You raise your frequency, the old frequencies can't survive in your new timeline anymore. They can't breathe in your air because they will fall off, ghost you, or start hissing like a spiritual mold in a clean room. Good. Let them go. Okay, your intuition is not some random psychic download. It's divine recon. It's your soul's intelligence report on what the conscious mind isn't ready to see yet. And guess what? It whispers to you. It doesn't debate or argue or scream at you. It drops a knowing and it walks away like a damn shaman ninja. Meanwhile, your conscious mind, that's over caffeinated intern thing, right? Screaming about taxes, deadlines, and what Karen might think of your shirt. Dude, ignore that guy. Ignore that lady, okay? Unless he's doing breath work, he's probably lying. Okay? Some people smile in your face and smell like deception. You don't know why. They didn't do anything, but you just feel it in your bones. That's because your aura is smarter than your resume. Your vibe never lies. Your vibe never lies. Your vibe never lies. You are not paranoid. You are just finally listening. You ever just know someone's a predator even before they open their mouth? You ever feel the coiled energy of a closeted fake person? You ever walk into the room and your whole body says, "Get out now." But your mind says, "Don't be rude. No, I don't want to leave too early." That's the moment. That's the moment. It's intuition versus social programming. Choose wisely, warriors. You're not here to be liked. You're here to decode the matrix of vibes and exit the farm of fear. Every emotion you feel is a frequency. Every person is a waveform. Every room has a signal. So stop ignoring your spirit's radar. The subconscious mind is God and drag. It doesn't need logic. It doesn't need receipts. It already knows. So stop hiding and seeking it. Stop waiting for proof. Start moving with knowing. Intuition equals access code. Doubt is your spiritual malware, and vibration is the language of the real ones. Okay? You're not crazy, you're claircognizant. You're not antisocial, you're energetically accurate. You are not alone, you are all one. You are initiated. So light that incense, trust that first thought, and remember, a God trapped in flesh must learn to listen before he remembers how to roar. In the last monologue, we unpacked the fear, the paranoia, the neurotic drama of the monkey mind, right? That limbic lizard brain backstage pulling the strings, that's the director of your doubt. But here's the thing, the body is an actor. It's got cravings, needs, it wants warmth, sugar, clout, cuddles, but the spirit writes the script. And the voice of the spirit doesn't audition. It whispers in a room full of ego tantrums. right? It doesn't shout. It doesn't plead. It just knows. How does it know? Right? The left brain starts improvising when it wasn't called on stage. Should I really give up that food to the spirit? Am I just being nice or am I getting manipulated? Is this moral or am I being guilt tripped? That's not your spirit. Okay, that's just your ego in rehearsal again. That's your identity trying to make edits to the divine script. Don't do that. Intuition is not a debate, it's a direction. If you have to convince yourself, you're already off book, right? So when spirit asks, it's lights on, no lines, just presence. If it presses you, it's manipulation. If it rises from within, it's intuition. If you're wrestling with the logic, it's probably the lizard. If it hits you like deja vu in your chest, it's probably the soul. Don't think it, feel the script. When you tuned in, doesn't the world just stop being a chaotic improv scene and it becomes a ritualized performance, right? With sacred blocking. So this is my announcement to you all. We have a group on Telegram. It's a free group. You can join us. Or we have our paid group, a more inner circle, the ADAPTS program. This is not an echo chamber. Okay, it's not for spiritual clout chasing. And we don't have time for low vibe critics, metaphysical hecklers. Okay, you show up, you train with us. You share wisdom. You elevate each other's craft. Right? So if spirit whispers cut them off and you hesitated, you re-scripted the scene. You let doubt improv the monologue. And now you're wondering, did I just write myself into karmic debt? Probably. But let's decode it in this particular way. Every choice is a casting decision, right? Every action is a seed planted in the rehearsal room of the cosmos. So if you act from fear, you get a drama rooted in fear. You get a very fearful scene, a scary movie, a horror flick. And if you start acting from divine knowing, you're letting your higher self direct the scene. That's karma, not punishment, not reward, just cause and effect rolling through wardrobe changes. Okay, so what creates karma? Not the act, but the intention behind the act. If you want to stay in a toxic bond out of guilt, that's ego stage managing your life. If you ignore your intuition because you don't want to look mean, that's spiritual vanity. If you second guess your soul's cue because you're clinging to comfort, it's a karmic theater. You see what I'm saying? So you say, I surrender authorship, higher self take the pen, rewrite the scene for me. That's when karma turns into dharma, right? And your actions echo from your deepest self, the self that isn't afraid of pain or seduced by pleasure. You know, there's this great theater director named Stanislavski, okay? He said the actor must believe in the given circumstances, okay? The actor must believe in the given circumstances. But here's the Primal Sutra upgrade. The adept must act from the given knowing. The adept must act from the given knowing. That's your buddhi, not Buddha with a six pack, right? Buddhi. Buddhi is the inner compass of your divinity. It is what we call intelligence. It doesn't yell, it doesn't seduce, it just knows timelessly, spacelessly, egolessly. So when you ask, did I mess up by not listening? Yeah, but the very question is already a chance to redirect, right? New line, new cue, new script. If you act from intuition, the karma flows upward. If you act from fear or comfort, the karma sinks into a deeper loop. So trust the stillness, not the spike. And the higher self doesn't need you to feel good. It needs you to feel real. This is a game changer, guys. When you plug this into your video game system, like that extra controller or whatever, that has the badass keys, now you're like, I trust intuition, not my feelings. Right? That's the law on the stage of becoming. So intuition is the director, ego is just the stage crew, right? You got the divine cue months ago, cut them off, exit stage left, you ad-libbed, you rewrote the script, and you let emotion improvise over intuition's monologue. Now you're stuck in a karmic scene you were never meant to perform. So you ask, did I just create unnecessary karma? Yes, but also that karma is the tuition fee for ignoring your soul script. Every act in the world stage is a seed, and every seed bears fruit. Not because the gods are judging your performance, but because your intention is the director behind the curtain. Proactivity and intention. Okay? You'll reap more scenes of fear if you keep acting from them. If you act from your divine knowing, you surrender your karma to the infinite writer's room. Now it's different, right? It's even better than you imagine it. That's the cool part, right? It's even better than that. You're not the whole play. You're a character learning to listen to the one who is. And that voice of intuition isn't very loud. It's not very charismatic or seductive. It doesn't beg for a role. It just knows. It's not coming from outside stage left, okay? It's coming from within the script you forgot that you wrote. When you act out of guilt, you're letting the reptile actor inside you run the play, the one who's stuck in a survival drama. But when you pause, when you listen, what happens then? When you listen and you trust that still whisper, that's your buddhi, the divine dramaturg guiding you beyond space and time. Buddhi doesn't work with five senses. It doesn't run towards applause or away from booing, right? It doesn't age. It doesn't need your likes. It just is. So cut the role that's expired. Stop gaslighting your own intuition with your ego. And remember, if you have to convince yourself to do it, it's not your higher self. It's probably your inner saboteur rehearsing fear lines. Okay? So the next time the spirit says cut, don't ask why, just bow. Exit the scene. Thank you. And trust that the next act will be incredibly divine. Incredibly divine. This is not a life, this is a multiversal audition. And every chance or choice, every flicker of emotion, every spell you whisper under your breath when no one's watching, that's you. Casting, recasting, directing, producing your own dimension. You are a dimension hopper, okay? A timeline tactician. And this current scene you're living in, it's just the result of the last character arc you refused to edit. So if you want the wealth, the lover, the body, the legacy, then you hold the vision like it's already been shot. No auditions, just execution. You direct every facet of your life like you've already seen the box office hit. You guys are getting this. You want the mansion, you call the entity that holds the key to the real estate timelines. You want to heal your bloodline, you summon your ancestral deities for war strategy or whatever, right? So every goal is a ritual, every ritual is a timeline shift, and every day you skip is a reality that you missed. So just forget the robes and the gold-plotted words. Will is your wand, focus is your robe, right? The system is dead, the current has changed, and it is you who's rewriting the algorithm in real time. Chaos magic, quantum theater, whatever you want to call it. Whatever works, works, right? And whatever doesn't, it's like a miscast actor in your sacred play. So some of you are still waiting for permission, but the Godhead is freelance now. You don't need to be Golden Dawn initiated. You don't need 12 years in a Himalayan cave. You need conviction that bypasses your monkey mind and implants directly into your subconscious director. Okay? The subconscious mind does not negotiate, it executes. Like a stagehand with no morals, no delays. You tell it the scene is real. It cues the props, light, sound, cast, and boom, your life is on. So stop overthinking, start overbelieving. Stop overthinking and start overbelieving. You don't need to know why it works or how it works. You just need to know. Full stop. Pray to Jesus, it'll work. Call on Lucifer, it'll work. Visualize Sonic the Hedgehog and chant, gotta go fast. It'll work. If it moves your nervous system, it'll work. Because your reality is not logical, it's psychological. Ooh, man, the Nexus is on fire today. It's not built by your IQ, it's built by your faith muscle. Depression, sadness, worry, that's a malware. It poisons the code. Every moment you feed that parasite and the higher script gets rewritten into a tragedy. But when you choose to trust, you activate a divine rewriting. When you move from faith, the entire matrix bends like a stage crew on Red Bull. You don't need proof, you are the proof. If you're broke, own that timeline as temporary. If you're lost, name the scene, the hero that enters the cave. Because that cave is holy. And that light inside that cave is scripted to rise as soon as you believe it's already dawn. So trust your divine weirdness, craft your own spell from your own intuition, not imitation, and act like the universe is your understudy. You are the mage. You are the mystery school. You are the chosen one because you chose yourself. Reality bends over backwards for those who stop auditioning and they just walk on stage like it's already opening night. You see what I'm saying, guys? Yeah, I've already arrived. Welcome home. You think this is life? This is a shifting labyrinth of timelines, timelines that bend like, wind in a sense. It's almost an elemental breath. Each choice you make is a Wingardium Leviosa, right? A wand stroke, okay? Every pause in doubt is a curse you cast on yourself. And you're not here to be healed. You're here to hone your will until reality becomes your personal algorithm. Dimension hopping isn't fiction, it's function. Right now, in this moment, you're at the vortex of every possible outcome, right? Lover or loneliness, kingdom or cage, right? Breakthrough or breakdown. It just hinges on one thing. How brazenly do you believe your own voice is God? Because it is. It's not a voice in your head. It's the voice beneath it. The current underneath the thought. The wind beneath the wing of I am. If you want a soulmate, you got to carve them in the silence. If you want passive income, you got to speak to the spirits of liquidity and command your subconscious to yield. If you want your body to radiate like a sun god dipped in flow state, right? You stand naked in front of your shame and roar until your inner selves remember who the hell they work for. You. Fuck the tools. You are the damn altar. You are the circle, the triangle of art. Your belief is the spell and your subconscious is the stagehand building the path beneath your feet as you walk it. So nothing is true. Everything is permitted, right? Chaos Magic 101. Everything charges, like whatever charges your nervous system programs your timeline. Okay? Even if I pray to the flying spaghetti monster from Pastafarianism, right? It'll still work for me. Because if it moves my chi, I've already won. I could use voodoo, anime, Legos, the Bible. I could use astrology. I could use sex rituals. I could use, something that is, printed out as a 3D model, right? I could put it on my pillow at night, a pillowcase that I designed that I'm looking at every night. I can have it on my ceiling as I wake up, right? I can do all of these things. And if it works, it's divine. And if it feels like fate, you got to follow it. You don't need answers, you need more conviction. The only sin is hesitancy, because when you hesitate, the quantum closes, the door slams shut. And then you're left wondering what could have been, and maybe quite possibly you're still in that limbo phase now, instead of rewriting what always was. But what if I'm sad? Then treat that sadness like an entity. Don't be its puppet, be its priest. Mourn, chant, cry it out, transmute, but don't let it pilot your ship. You are the wind, you are the helm, you are the holy storm disguised as a soft whisper of a human. So reality is a masochist. It bends to your will, it shapeshifts for the bold, it contorts itself in orgasmic surrender to those who trust their own godhead. So why beg? Why shrink? Why wait? You are not here to pray, you are here to declare. My doubt is my exile, my will is my wand. I do not wait for miracles. I am the miracle that wakes the world. All right. Somebody drop a fire emoji. Let's get it today. Upward spiral. May we never be the same again. You were never meant to play by Earth rules anyways, my friends. You were never meant to play by Earth's rules anyways. Okay. You know what? Instead, let's do a really quick whiteboard. Okay. Really, really quick whiteboard. I know I got to get going. So do all of y'all. Okay. We have incredible lives. Okay. We're not here complaining about our lives. No, no, we have good lives. We have amazing lives, that we cherish. Because every single moment is a chance to help yourself or others. And when you help yourself, you can then help others, right? It's amazing how that works. So, all right, without further ado, let's open this up. Just a few things that I want to show you guys, okay? So looky here, okay? Are you guys able to see this, by the way? Yes? Hmm. Okay, I'll assume that's a yes. And so non-local intuition, energetic sensitivity, and implicit knowledge. Combination of all these three is intuition. Okay. This is another model, which I thought was interesting. Rational thinking and intuitive thinking. Okay. Intuitive thinking is fast, automatic, and emotional. Rational thinking is slow, effortful, and logical. Okay. But what if you can add both? A little bit of rational, a little bit of intuitive, right? Heart-mind coherence. Powerful. Okay. Very powerful way of thinking about it. There's a couple more I wanted to show you guys. Okay, that's an unsupported file type or whatever it says. Let's see this one. Okay. So 4 types of intuitive thinking. Emotional intuitive thinking, which is the ability to see through someone's personality and emotions. Mental intuitive thinking, which is the ability to at least solve an issue without analysis. Psychic intuitive thinking, which is the ability to effectively cope with a personal crisis. And spiritual intuitive thinking, which is the ability to channel mystic enlightenment. Okay? Now tell me this is not something that you definitely want, right, in life. Because I certainly do. Okay? These definitions give you some clarity, some essence of like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Which one do I have more of? Which ones do I need to work on? All right? So, without further ado, I'm going to end it, okay? That's all, folks, okay? And I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you. Take care of yourselves, okay? Self-care is really, really key right now. Self-care, max it out. Self-care maxing, okay? It's gonna be a time where you need it. We're going back into our own isolation again for a reason. We have to go inwards in order to expand out. Okay, that's what it's always been. If you notice this mudra, this is the Garuda mudra, and this is the Naga mudra. This is how I call upon the Primal Sutra Nexus. Very easy way to do it. You can do it as well. Okay, I give you permission. I give you permission to tap into this because it's a very, very powerful understanding, and you can call upon just activate Primal Sutra Nexus. And if you're an adept, you auto get the skill. You get kind of a badge of honor in a sense, right? It's like how we recognize ourselves, like this and like this. Okay, we have two of them so far. We're going to create some more. Of course, something maybe upward spiral or something related to that. Okay, let's get it. Upward spiral. May we never be the same again. Primal Sutra. Let's get it. Build your legacy and build it now. Let's go.